Oh yeah, kitchen cutlery coming back at you. This is the TS508 DM 8-inch chef's knife from, yeah, you probably guessed it, TwoSun. So, I just popped this off. I will say, yeah, it does come with the necessary protective stuff. I just finished using it, so there's that. This guy is, as you can see, Damascus clad. It's a little subtle. It's not, super dark as a contrast, but nice kind of raindrop pattern going on there. They say it's 67 layers, like a lot of their other stuff is. That's pretty cool. And the core, from what I can gather, is 10CR 15 MOV, because that's what the rest of the family says that it is. However, this one, the only listing I can really find for it is the eBay one that just lists as Damascus. But the rest of them are 10CR 15 MOV, or almost all the rest of them. So, pretty safe to assume that that is what this guy is. Now then, this guy does seem fairly similar to the TS977, I want to say. So that's the 14C28N guy right here. That doesn't have the clip point at the end. So this is a pretty darn traditional chef's knife going on here. You got a nice little mosaic pen. Let's see if I can't get a super nice up close kind of thing. I'll rotate it a little bit. Yeah, super attractive. The handles are G10, so yeah, super nice there. And as you can see, this is a full forged, full tang knife that they just have G10 slabs that go on either side, and they'll pen them in. So there you go. I don't notice really any kind of issue going on with the fit and finish on it. It'll start to have that forged crown kind of going out to about here, where they've changed the grind a little bit, but it's still nice and crowned. So the pinch grip, very, very comfortable on this thing. I have absolutely no complaints with that. The edge does come all the way out basically to the heel here, so you don't really have any worries of unsharpened area down there at the base. And yeah, it does have a very nice arc for doing the rock chop, if that's the kind of thing that you're into. A lot of home cooks, myself included. It's not generally our favorite method of actually cutting with them. I do like kind of an up and down. Of course, I do like the pinch grip, so I do like to push into my cuts rather than pull across them. That's a little bit more Japanese style. But I really don't like the whole, bend your fingernails back and kind of do that there. However, this thing is a little bit taller than a lot of the other chef's knives that I've taken a look at. So it's a little bit easier for, dudes and or chicks who have hands that are way too big for their own good. So yeah, it makes it easier for you to have that clearance all the way. A lot of times on the shorter ones, my knuckle would actually come underneath it, and that's kind of just uncomfortable. So there you go. So I've started using this thing. Put it through a lot of paces over this last week or two. I cut up some different melons, some pineapple, cabbage, carrots, potatoes, chicken, some pork loin, just whatever I was actually cooking about. And I did notice one thing that is a little slightly off about this, and that is the grind coming down to the edge. It is a little thick right here at the shoulder before you get down there. I measured it at about 0.61 millimeters, which, yeah, that's a little thick right behind the edge. And this didn't bother me for much of my cutting tasks. The one that it did was cabbage. Anything that you really have like fine layers, Or cheese. Cheese would be another good example of that, where it's pretty easy to bind up. It bites really fantastically well, but as soon as you get past that shoulder, you actually have to put a little bit more force than I'm used to with a lot of other kitchen knives. So there's that. If you are worried about kind of doing your own like cabbage shred kind of thing, this guy's probably not going to work out quite as well for you just because it's a little thicker behind the edge. That does mean that the edge in the knife itself is going to be a little bit stronger than some of the other guys that are thinner there at the edge. So you certainly do have to keep that in mind. This would probably be more suited for more actual chopping tasks, like straight down onto the cutting board. That shouldn't bounce me around too much because I've decoupled my camera from this table here for this. So yeah, so that works out all right. It's not my favorite blade geometry, and unfortunately it's not just kind of shallowing the sharpening angle just because it's so much thicker coming down to it that it would basically be like a different angle regrind. And then you remove all your beautiful raindrop Damascus patterning. And that would make me sad because this knife is super, super attractive. I like it quite a bit. It's still not going to win out over my my TS508 as my favorite chef's knife, but it is a fantastic option. Outside of the fact that the heel is actually ground down, the feel, the heft to it, and the balance and everything really, really reminds me of the Zwilling Henckels Pro S. That's their one with the 3 rivet handles. Chef's knife, just straight up. So if you are looking for something like that, that probably still has a little bit more edge retention to it, then this guy wouldn't be all that bad. But since I've been experimenting with many a different chef's knife, this one actually isn't my absolute favorite. That being said, I did use this to disassemble quite a few things, and I do actually want to try and check how sharp it is behind the edge. I've used basically the whole edge, except for probably a bit at the tip. I mean, it's been on the cutting board, but it hasn't really gone through anything. Let's make sure that's actually, in frame and everything. And I shall turn the light on. And make sure I don't bump anything with it. Let's go for about here, right in the middle. All right, 245. So that's not too bad. I did lose a little bit. It was about 220 before I started cutting anything with it. So yeah, this thing is pretty good for just kind of strapping back up. It does work out a little bit better than one of the other guys that I did a cut test for that ended up being like 400 something afterwards. That one too came right back up into true. I just basically took my ultrafine kitchen steel to it a couple of times and then stropped it, and it was back in business. But generally, a lot of people won't maintain their knives nearly as much as is probably suggested. A lot of people are afraid of trying to use a kitchen steel, and or with a lot of these newer European and Asian hybrid kind of knives, they're not sure if they should use a kitchen steel on it. And well, heck, unless you're a knife enthusiast or you're a woodworker, you probably don't have leather straps laying around. I mean, you might if you're into straight razor wet shaving or whatnot, but those are a little bit different, and they'll probably concave your blade. You don't really want to end up doing that for a V-shaped edge like that. But yeah, so generally having stuff that lasts at least a little bit longer is it's always nice. I don't really have any problems maintaining any of my edges. I mean, heck, I work from home. I'm always here. I'm playing with knives all the time, and I always have my knife sharpening accoutrement around, good old double-sided paddle strap and other sharpening methods. So that doesn't really bother me all that much. But it is, you know, a conscious effort for me to decide, all right, it's time for me to take care of my kitchen knives, go upstairs, grab everything that I need, and start doing the maintenance on there. Generally, a lot of people, they'll just wander into the kitchen, go, all right, let's cut some stuff. This isn't cutting like usual. Well, that's unfortunate. And they'll, you know, just put it away. Which is kind of unfortunate, but what are you going to do? So, yeah, I will do a little extra thing on here. Let's see what I did with my scale. I thought I used it behind here on my desk area, but I'm not seeing him. Aha! I buried it in the box for this knife. So yeah, this is a itty bitty little tiny scale. I understand that, but it will do the job with a little bit of trickery here. So yeah, let me go ahead and turn that on. And I generally like to start in ounces. I got this little guy here. It's basically carved to almost, if not exactly 10 grams, but it spreads the weight out so I can actually measure things that weigh a bit more. And this guy weighs 9.87 ounces or 280 grams. So yeah, it's a hefty little beast. It can do some chopping for you. It's heftier than a lot of the other TwoSun knives that I have taken a look at. Probably right around the same as the TS9 whatever knives that are in 14C28N. There's also the 888 that was a chef's knife with kind of a Bowie clip point that Wong had designed for them, which is pretty neat, but I still prefer the 999 a little bit more. But yeah, that's kind of what I got to say about that. It's a very interesting knife, a very pretty knife. A little thick behind the edge for doing some very fine detail vegetable kind of work. So there you go. All right, well, hope y'all enjoyed what I got going on over here. And I hope you have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, yo.